Theatre presents Live from the Audience, where once a month we share what's going on in the Black theater world, along with conversations and words of wisdom from some of the leading Black theater professionals from Memphis, Tennessee, and across the nation. For our June edition, we'll be bringing you an interview with National Black Theater's CEO, Sade Lythcott, and Artistic Director, Johnathan McCrory. But first, let's move on to some Black theater news. The National Black Theater in New York will be presenting Black Mother, Lost Daughter, written by Fiona Jacquet and directed by Stevie Walker-Webb. The show will run June 21st through 25th. The Fleetwood Jordan Theater in Evanston, Illinois, will be presenting Obamaology, written by Aaron Square and directed by Bria Walker. The show will run June 10th through the 25th. The Kenny Playhouse Theater in Nashville, Tennessee, will be presenting Front Porch Society, written by Melda Betty and directed by Kenny Dozer. The show will run June 1st through the 11th. Next up at Hattiloo Theatre is Sisters, the Musical, written by Dorothy Merritt and directed by Sharonda Johnson. The show will run June 2nd through the 25th. To purchase tickets for any of our shows, visit www.hattiloo.org or call our box office at 901-525-0009. Our interview with the National Black Theater's Sade Lythcott and Johnathan McCoy starts now.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ekendayo Bandeli. I'm the founder and CEO of Hattiloo Theatre in Memphis, Tennessee. And today we have the great honor and privilege of hearing a few words of what's up at the National Black Theatre in Harlem, New York. We have the CEO, Sade Lythcott, and the executive artistic producer, Johnathan McCrory. And
hello.
Hattiloo's Tamisha Edwards, who is the partnership and communications coordinator. So I'm going to get out of the way and turn this over to Tamisha, who's going to have a brief conversation with Sade and Johnathan. Tamisha, take it away.
All right. How are y'all doing this wonderful morning? It's still morning.
Yes.
Doing good. All right, so we're just going to hop right into it, okay?
Yeah.
So the first question I have for you all is, what was a highlight of your experience co-producing Fat Ham, and how will you use that knowledge in projects going forward?
I would say one of the highlights of producing Fat Ham is actually being able to reunite with James and Saheem, two artists that we have invested in for over 10 years now, and being able to witness that relationship blossom into this historic moment. I think that is one of the biggest highlights, is that a relationship between artists and artists within inside of organizations and institutions can champion each other to make historic moments that break more of the glass ceiling.
Yeah, I would say, I think, dovetailing on what Johnathan said, National Black Theatre is going into its 55th season, and we are producing theater that commissions and develops new work, and obviously we pour into artists. And so one of the things that Johnathan has always said is, like, we're less concerned about an artist that we're developing writing a Pulitzer Award-winning play, but coming into relationship with a Pulitzer Award-winning artist. So when we first produced James Imes' world premiere of Kill Move Paradise, it was a beautiful first New York production for James and for Saheem Ali, our director. So to see it fast forward 5 years, Fat Ham to actually win the Pulitzer has been an incredible full circle moment, because it is both supporting the artist and getting the accomplishment. And then lastly, I would just say, National Black Theater is currently building the Theater of the Future, our new home. And so we've been itinerant for some time, which was scary. Like, how do we produce our kind of theater without having our space? And the co-production with the Public Theater last season really proved to say, hey, there is something to this partnership, bringing the pedagogy of Dr. Barbara Ann Teer's National Black Theater outside of Harlem to the national landscape. Really was an incredible lesson to learn that we can do it, and that it's a really different level of impact with new audiences. And then, of course, transferring it to Broadway is historic, and we are really proud to be the third Black theater in the history of the Great White Way to have anything transferred to Broadway. So we've learned a lot along these last 5 years, and a lot to be proud of. And we hope people will come and see Fat Ham now that it's on Broadway.
Oh, that's amazing. Like, that's, oh my gosh, so all just inspiring for sure.
Thanks.
All right, so next question.
Yeah.
So both of you have a long history telling diverse stories based on the Black experience through theater. And Fat Ham is a story that focuses mainly on Black queer characters and calling out toxic masculinity as well as homophobia in the Black community. Why do you feel that it is important to continue telling these diverse stories through theater?
I mean, I would say one of the main reasons why it's important is because we haven't given that much space to those stories, even having like a huge there's so many new complex narratives as we as humans need to unveil and unravel, and this is just one area that needs to be invested in. I mean, there are areas of our society that we have shunned, put away, put in the back corner, and I just think that we can't do enough narratives to write the amount of history of shame or coverage or not showing up for those members of our community so they can feel seen, beloved, and witnessed. What does it mean to utilize theater as a trauma-induced mechanism to eradicate or diminish the very vibration of harm and create a space for harm reduction? And so I think that the commitment of doing this story is a commitment that also helps to uplift what does it mean for a mother and son bond to be actually illuminated? What does it mean for us to think about the Southern community and give the Southern South a space in our psyche? I think that the show does more than just center Black queer youth in their space of becoming, and I think that we rob the brilliance of what James Irons actually penned when we focus on just those number one and number two like primary centers. I feel like heart spaces for us to lean into. So it really becomes a human story that really helps us to uplift humans. But I will just answer your question. I think that it's important because there's a history of not telling those stories. So then now there needs to be a history of telling those stories.
Yeah, it's such a great question. And I agree with Johnathan. I think the thing to walk away with if you're in New York and you come see Fat Ham is that, this is a story of reclamation. So much of what National Black Theater does is centered in our theory of change, which is Black liberation plus art plus placemaking equals the conditions for human transformation. And so this is a story, a liberatory story, right? This is like very much within the pedagogy of NBT. And it's a story of reclamation. James Irons pens, a Black Southern queer adaptation of Hamlet. It is reclaiming the language of Shakespeare and putting it in the mouths of Black folks as us. So it is the ultimate FUBU story for us and by us. And yes, the characters happen to be queer, but they happen to be Christian, and they happen to be in the military, and they happen to be complex, nuanced, full human beings. And so what we're committed to at National Black Theater is always creating the biggest platform to show the the spectrum of the authentic Black experience, the truth of our lives, not the kind of because it's a comedy, so it's a very funny show, but we don't want to just be the punchline. We want to give voice to both the pain, the angst, the joy, and the laughter of our experience. So yes, those themes of queerness and toxic masculinity are there, but so is so many other aspects of our authentic, truthful, radical, lived lives. And so for us, we are excited about the play because in so many ways it's reclamation. And I would say the last thing in terms of those themes is that, we're living in a time where we're seeing books being banned. We're seeing states that are putting, anti-civil rights legislation in place around the LGBTQ plus community. We're seeing the banning of story hours by drag queens, like all of this kind of repression of creative expression. And so we thought it was important to produce this show right now to give voice to all of the headlines that are pulling our culture back and putting it into boxes and saying, no, art changes the hearts and minds of people, and it is incumbent when you have power to use your power for change and good. So that's really those underlying themes also in Fat Ham as well.
Thank you so much for expanding our thought process around Fat Ham. And I loved how you all kind of go into this idea of the intersectionality of our existences and that we're all very much so multifaceted human beings, especially in the Black community. So like that, thank you so much. That was wonderful. And so if people want to learn more about the National Black Theater, where can they go and what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, you can always go to our website, nationalblacktheater.org, or you can find us on every social platform on IG. We're at Nat Black Theater, spelled TH, spelled the British way, R-E, not E-R. We're on YouTube, Twitter, and what's coming up for us, Johnathan?
Well, after Fat Ham, we have which will be opening on April 12th. We have Bernarda's Daughter that will be happening in May in previews and in production through June, and that'll happen at Signature Theater. It's our partnership with the New Group, and then we will be doing a production public presentation at Fedna, our player in residence, directed by C.B. Walker Webb at the Flea, and that will happen at the end of June. And then lastly, just to kind of launch us into Founders Month, we have a birthday celebration that we're going to be doing for Dr. Barbara Ann Teer at the Park Avenue Armory. So these are all three different distinct moments that have very important significance to NBT, that we invite folks to engage and be able to kind of witness these ideas, this pedagogy, this love note that we've been talking about right now be materialized in full flesh.
Cool.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, and if I could just real quick, back, I founded Hattiloo in 06, and you all at NBT had a conclave where you brought in like 10 or 12 Black theaters. Do you remember? What was that called?
It was 19 Black theaters. It was called Catalyst, moving the Black theater
right,
forward.
Catalyst. So I want to quickly bring that up because the same way that Dr. Barbara Ann Teer, she flipped the script on what Black theater could be, the self-determination that so many Black theaters strive for right now. I don't think the Black community or the country had actually dreamt that we could be what we are becoming before her and her idea and her leadership. And I just want to say that the spirit of that continues through Sade and Johnathan. There I was, a young theater maker, not knowing much, and you guys brought in speakers, you brought us together. I remember there was this one workshop about risk capital. I had never heard about it. And right now I'm going out after risk capital. So I really do want to, say thank you again for that. you just don't know the impact that you have on theater makers and theaters like you have at Hattiloo.
Oh, thank you so much. And I want to just tease, we're going to bring Catalyst back. So stay tuned. Hopefully in the fall of this year,
What?
we'll do another. Yeah, it's a little tease.
Okay, look, I'm not too grown to learn. I'm in college, by the way, so don't forget me.
Same. We're lifelong learners, and Black theater is so important to this culture, this global culture. It's not just important to our communities, but it's important, and it shapes the world and the way, you know, the world sees it, ourselves and each other. And so thank you for that shout out. Thank you for taking the time out to have a chat with Johnathan and I. And yeah, yes to lifelong learners.
All right, Tamisha, please sign us out.
All right. Thank you all for joining us today. Read from the audience, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you. Thank you for watching Live from the Audience, presented by Hattiloo Theatre. To learn more about Hattiloo, its mission, ticket purchases, or how to get involved, visit www.hattiloo.org. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. Tell us what you think. For more content like this, hit that follow button. We can't wait to see y'all again. Have a great day. Goodbye.